Nintendo are a crazy video game company, showing off games you wouldn't expect to see, not releasing or announcing what feel like obvious moves, and unleashing some of the most interesting, crazy concepts for video games. Nintendo are at best unpredictable, and that's on a good year. But right here and now in 2024, it's even more unpredictable as usual, with a wide open release schedule, rumours surrounding a Q1 2025 release for the new console, and a year so far made up of smaller titles and remakes, it does feel like anything could happen. And I mean anything. So could Ring Fit Adventure 2 actually fit into this crazy year? I actually now feel like there is a possibility. It's a small one, but it's a possibility nonetheless. I previously spoke on this topic about a year and a half ago, saying that Ring Fit Adventure 2 was unlikely to happen at that point in time, and I do still stand by my reasons back then. Nintendo's EPD4 studio had come off of Switch Sports, and if anything, were likely to follow up with a DLC expansion for that title. The last Ring Fit update we had was in March 2020. It had been so long since any Ring Fit update, but considering lots of the Ring Fit team worked on Switch Sports, it was unlikely that they were developing a follow-up at that point. It actually turned out they were working on Everybody Want to Switch, a game that will go down in history as one of the games that released in 2023, and now, again, we don't know what they're working on. But what I'd like to say right now is that it's quite unlikely that Nintendo Switch Sports is being followed up with some DLC expansions. There are lots of reasons for this. Despite over 12 million sold, there's been a huge drop in active players, and most telling, the sudden death of content for the game without even a social media post to announce that the content was ending. Nintendo kind of just let it fizzle out and die, so they're unlikely to try and revive it as far as I can speculate. But anyway, I want to say that whilst a lot of the points in that original Ring Fit 2 video do still stand, I think at this point in the current release schedule for Nintendo Switch, there is room for a game like Ring Fit Adventure 2 or a spin-off title. I am still waiting for my Ring Fit platformer or like a Ring Fit rhythm game or something like that. Now, when I say release schedule, what the hell am I talking about? We know what Nintendo is releasing over the next few months. February saw the release of Mario vs Donkey Kong, March had the release of Princess Peach Showtime, April is pretty empty but bookended by an early May release for the exclusive Endless Ocean Luminous. And this is where it gets interesting. We knew about two other Nintendo first party titles coming, a full remake of Luigi's Mansion 2 for the 3DS, and a remake of Paper Mario The Thousand Year Door. Now, to say that this is an anticipated title is an understatement. The children yearn for the Paper Mario of old, and now it's coming. Full-on remake, lovely lighting, a wonderful experience with great upgrades. This could easily have been marketed as a holiday game with some effective marketing strategies. If not a main one, definitely a supporting one to supplement something bigger. But the Paper Mario Thousand Year Door remake releases on May the 23rd of this year, and then Luigi's Mansion 2, well, that follows up in June. And now, Furukawa-san, president of Nintendo, has announced that we have a Nintendo Direct coming in June with no information about the Switch successor in it. However, they are going to reveal this Switch successor within this financial year, aka between now and March 2025. So I'm speculating here and now that a Ring Fit game would work extremely effectively in this scenario. You see, if the Switch 2 is releasing in Q1 2025, then they're going to need some powerful launch titles still. Think about what the first year of the Switch had. Big support from Zelda, Mario Kart, Splatoon and such like that. Nintendo will want something like that to kick the first year off well and make the Switch 2 a must-have console. So what do they release in Q4 2024? It's going to be games to help finish the Switch off strong. My main candidate is Metroid Prime 4. I think that this will be the big title in this scenario. People have been waiting for this for so long, and to finally have it released would be magnificent. I don't think it's strong enough to be a sole launch title, but I think it can definitely finish off a console very strong. To back that up, I can see Nintendo continuing to launch games every month or so and fill out the holiday period. Maybe games with strong fan bases to keep up momentum, Kid Icarus maybe, or maybe some Zelda. Perhaps I'd finally get my goddamn Wind Waker remake. But there's another game that we could consider. Something with a strong sales base of 15 million plus or so since its release in 2019. Something that you guys are finally waiting for me to talk about. Ring Fit. A Ring Fit sequel makes sense as a supporting end-of-life title for Nintendo Switch. A lot of people have these rings in their houses and home gyms, and you know what? There's only one title that actually uses it. That actually genuinely feels like a misfire on Nintendo's point. I'd love to talk about that some other time, but yeah. It taps into the casual and non-gaming market really well as a final boost for Switch sales. We're not in 2020 anymore, but home fitness is still huge, and Ring Fit brings in new players wanting to gamify their fitness journey. It would allow Nintendo to capitalise on that big market that is otherwise quite difficult to reach. Now, is the home fitness market worth it for Nintendo? I genuinely believe so, yes. And the proof for this one is actually fitness boxing in Japan. Over in the West, fitness boxing is a niche series with some fun spin-offs. In Japan, it is much bigger. There's an app to complement your workout. There's an anime. There's a webcomic. There's merchandise. There are still collaborations with huge J-pop stars and now Hatsune Miku, which, by the way, the review for that game is coming. And even, at one point, there was a deal with a hotel chain to include fitness boxing sessions in your stay to help keep you healthy when you're out on business. It's a lot, and there's no reason why Nintendo shouldn't be trying to capitalize on that with a first-party endeavor of their own. I mean, it's not like Nintendo haven't tried. When I was becoming a PT, when I was finishing up my qualifications, I actually remember going into one of the fitness firsts I was doing training at, and there was a Ring Fit setup in there that you could try out. It was really cool, but there's no follow-up here. No pushing new content like fitness boxing does, no additional merchandise, little advertising to help. It is genuinely a missed opportunity no matter how you look at it. And if Nintendo were wanting a game to help push those last sales for the Switch's life, a more casual market is likely to be a good place to look. So that is why I believe that if a Switch 2 is a Q1 2025 release, that Ring Fit 2 or a spin-off are genuine surprise contenders for a release in Q4 24. It makes sense to me that that would work. And if Ring Fit 2 never happens, I'll be sad, but you know, Nintendo have had a history of releasing fitness games. They've done other fitness titles. I'm sure they're going to do something else with the Switch successor. Now, as I addressed earlier, but will address again here, I'm going to get comments saying that I've got no proof of any of this and that it's all purely speculation. And yeah, no shit. Of course it's speculation. I've got no insider information, I've got no leaks, I've got nothing like that. But I'm just looking at the way that the market is going, seeing what makes sense for Nintendo as a business strategy, and I do think that Nintendo could use Ring Fit Adventure 2 pretty effectively in that specific scenario. The final push for sales, the need for a strong title with proven sales records, it could really be the time, but it is speculation, as I said. All I know is I'll be waiting for any Nintendo news, and the moment something gets announced, you know that I'll be letting you know. Thank you for watching, and if you're still here, maybe chuck a subscribe my way and hit the like button. That would be amazing, really helps me out. I'm Master Trainer Peter, I'm trying to make the best fitness gaming content on YouTube, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks to Rain and Connor for their support through Patreon.